Imagine taking a piece of raw meat and sealing it inside a metal bomb filled with violently boiling oil. It sounds like an industrial accident, but it's actually the starting point for one of the most successful fast food items on the planet. By the end of this video, you are going to understand the exact physical mechanics required to create the ultimate piece of fried chicken. Whenever people talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken, they immediately fixate on the legendary 11 herbs and spices. We treat that hidden spice blend like it's a magic spell. But when top-tier Michelin-starred chefs attempted to replicate that flavor from scratch on television, they failed. They mixed incredibly complex dry rubs, but they couldn't get the result right because they were looking at the ingredients. High-quality ingredients are ineffective if the physical cooking environment is wrong. The texture we recognize comes from the application of high-pressure physics. To get that original recipe texture, the kitchen doesn't use a normal open vat of oil. They use a piece of industrial hardware called a pressure fryer. This diagram shows what happens during normal open frying. When you drop chicken into hot oil, the heat causes the water inside the meat to rapidly turn into steam. That steam bubbles up and escapes into the air. As all that water leaves, the meat dries out. A pressure fryer changes that reaction. By clamping down a heavy metal lid, you are trapping all of that escaping steam. The pressure inside that sealed tank rapidly builds up. Because the steam has nowhere to go, that intense pressure forces the moisture back down into the center of the meat. The chicken essentially boils in its own juices on the inside, while browning in the hot oil on the outside. Sealing the vessel ensures the meat stays juicy, but that same trapped steam softens the outer crust. You get tender chicken, but you lose out on a sharp, audible crunch. So, how do you solve the texture problem? How do you engineer a piece of chicken to be shatteringly crispy without letting all that internal juice escape into the hot air? You ditch the pressure fryer entirely. When you order extra crispy chicken, it's actually cooked in a standard open vat of oil. But to compensate for the lack of pressure, the cook has to build a physical jacket around the meat. This relies on a technique called double bridding. The meat gets dunked into a wet buttermilk wash, dredged through dry seasoned flour, and then run through that same process a second time to build a massive outer layer. This diagram shows the effect of that double thick layer. When this massive starch jacket hits the open oil, it instantly cooks into a rock-hard crust. It forms a physical barrier that locks the juices deep inside before the high heat can evaporate them. Achieving the perfect piece of fried chicken is a choice between two distinct physical manipulations: tracking the juice using a mechanical pressure bomb or blocking its escape with a structural shield. How can a home cook replicate this commercial science without owning an industrial pressure vat? You can create those signature ridges by physically altering the dry ingredients before the chicken ever touches the flour. Take a few spoonfuls of your wet buttermilk marinade and drizzle them directly into your dry seasoned flour. Use your fingers to rub it together until it forms little doughy rocks. When you dredge your chicken, those pre-formed hydrated lumps stick right to the surface of the meat. As soon as they hit the hot oil, they expand and fry up into those highly textured, crunchy bumps found in professional fast food. Once you understand how to control moisture, either by sealing it in with a thick structural crust or by building up those surface bumps, you don't need a corporate recipe. You can execute the ultimate piece of fried chicken right in your own kitchen.